All right, so I had mentioned before that I was going to add a cooling fan to the Huayee HY14C. It gets a little hot under the cover, under the seat, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to add that to. And I'm going to add it right behind the plate there, which it would be between your legs. It just has these 4 bolts holding it in. Let's see if you can see the back of it here. Yeah, that's where I had taken it out before and got some measurements so I'd know what size fan to get. And so hopefully it'll go there. I'm going to set it so that it will suck air from the front and blow it onto the engine, and hopefully out the perforated holes in the black there on the back and on the sides. All right, so these are the items that I have set out to install the cooling fan. First off is the cooling fan itself. I got it on Amazon. For what it's worth, that's the name that's on the back of it. It's made in China, so that's pretty appropriate for a Chinese-made mini excavator. I'm gonna mount it behind this plate. This is a plate I pointed out earlier where the fan will go. It'll suck air from the outside and blow it back over the motor. Got a couple of 1/4-inch Allen bolts. I think they're 1.25 inches long. Normally I would have just taken my angle grinder and drawn a pattern for the fan and cut the circle out. But I saw this big drill bit on Amazon for like $16, $17, and I thought that would be a lot smoother. It would keep me from using a file to straighten up the hole after I whack it out of there. So hopefully this will be make it much easier, and I'm sure I can find other things to use it for in the future. Now, this right here is a 5-inch grill. Now, when I say grill, obviously it's a grill, but it's actually made stainless steel. It's I guess it's made for camping and maybe sitting on a couple of bricks and building a little fire under and making coffee or something small. Don't know how much use it would be for there, but I thought it would make a nice fan cover with a lot of openings so it wouldn't impede the airflow, and I could mount it on there after I get the fan installed. Another way to do that would be to get whatever size drill bit you want and drill holes on either side in front of the fan, and then take your, after you drill on each side, then take your angle grinder and cut the rest of the metal out of it, and you can make a vent that way, cheaper. I just decided to do it this way because I had this little grill. Now, I decided to put my fan on a switch, and the reason I'm going to do that instead of just wiring it straight to come on whenever the ignition is on is because there's already a fan that is constantly running on the machine. Now, it's not a cooling fan for the engine per se. It is a cooling fan for the hydraulics. There is a little heat exchanger, oil radiator, if you will, that the fan sucks through, and that fan runs constantly. This will need to run probably any time that it's warm outside, but I'm thinking if I use it in the winter, I probably won't need it, so I was going to add a switch to that. Also, if my battery was low, I'd want to be able to turn at least one thing that sucks electricity off. Now, so this is a Carling style switch, which is a common switch that you can find on eBay, Amazon, whatever. I got this one on eBay. I think it was either $8 or $9. It's supposed to be backlit in orange. The opening where you'd put it at on the mini excavator, by the way, this is Miss Tootsie. She's my helper for the day. How you doing, Miss Tootsie? Pretty good. All right, so on the mini excavator, and by the way, there's the hole where the plate came from, where the fan will go, and of course that's the motor behind it. So this is the switch on the Huayee HY14C. It's your light switch. It comes, it's slightly larger than a Carling switch. And there's a blanking plate right here to add an additional accessory, which is where I'm going to put this switch. Now, the thing about it is this switch is ever so slightly smaller than this one, so I've taken it off to test fit it, and you know, it just sits loose in the hole. This little cover right here I've taken off, and so I bought a 3-pack of these switch cover adapters, or switch mounting adapters. Flip is the brand. I guess that's the item number or model number. There's another number back here as well. But what they're made for is to install Carling type switches in the larger holes that come on a Polaris side by side, or maybe on their 4-wheelers as well. I bought those, I test fitted them. They fit perfectly in the hole in the mini excavator, with one exception. They're a little wide, so I may sand this side slightly, because as it is, it kind of touches the side of the light switch. Another way to do it would simply be to take a Dremel tool and cut out the blanking plate that's on there, and just put the switch in it. I've done that on other things before where there wasn't a switch hole. Just use the Dremel to cut out the hole. So that's a possibility. So the mini excavator, the part that's not reddish orange is gray. I'm not sure if it's Massey Ferguson gray or if it's Kubota gray, but in any event, if you buy either of those two paints from the tractor place, they're ridiculously expensive. So I just bought a can of the closest thing I could find at Lowe's, and that is gloss dark gray. It's not exactly the same, but I'll use that to repaint here, and when I later when I reinforce the thumb, I'll use that to repaint the thumb. So I guess that's about it. Gonna get some tools together, get my drill out, mount this, cut the hole out, drill some holes, and start mounting it. So the paint that I talked about earlier was not the paint that I ultimately used. It came out almost a silver looking, so I went back and I got this can, which is slate, ultra matte slate. It's not a perfect match, but it's certainly better than the other one. All right, so I just taken a straight edge, kind of line it up. I'm gonna mark a spot so we can center punch the hole. And that ought to be close enough for government work. And I'll center punch the hole. I'll center punch where the hole will be. And by the way, those are the measurements that I made. They're rough, but they're pretty close. The parentheses was just the max I was going to go for. So the fan is actually slightly less than 5 inches. So I'm going to use a 1/8 inch bit for the initial pilot hole, and then I'll come back with the large bit. So I'm going to put a little oil in the pilot hole, and since the bit is so big, I'm just going to put some on the outside of it to start. Then I'll add some more.
I'm a big fan of oil when it comes to cutting. And this is just, not putting any pressure on, because it'll want to lock up if you do. got the brake cleaner won't remove. Again. Making some headway. Starting to punch through in places. Flip it over.
All right, so flip that over.
And I'm going to go see if we get the rest of the way through it now.
All right, so the big drill bit drilled a nice uniform hole. Doesn't look too bad. Hit it with the wire brush on the grinder. Knocked all the burrs off. Looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is set the fan on here. Mark the spot to drill the holes for the mounting screws. Figure out how I'm going to mount the grill to it and get it ready to paint. Then put it on and figure out the wiring. I mocked up the fan mounted into the metal plate. I drilled holes for the mounting bolts, 1/4 inch. They match the mounting bracket on the fan. Drilled 4 3/16 holes to mount the metal grate to. Just mocked it up to make sure everything was going to work. I've got to take it back apart, paint where I drilled the holes out at, and then I'll hook it up. I pulled the floor cover off, which is just 4 13mm bolts, I believe, and the side cover, which is 4 12mm bolts. And this is the wire that runs the fan on the oil cooler, and it goes that way, and then comes over here, is looped around several times, and ends up being this black wire or that red wire there. I'm going to tap into those to power the switch, break the switch with one of them, and hook it up that way, I think, unless something changes. I'm going to take this little piece off here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 3mm Allen wrench nuts or bolts or whatever they are, and hook that up. After you take those 6 3mm Allen head bolts out, then you've got access back here to the wiring. There's your hydraulics, and I went ahead and popped the plug out here, and that's where the switch will go. I did just a little bit of sanding on the side of this adapter plate for the Carling switch. You can probably see it there. It only took a minute. See if it'll fit without interfering with the switch. Here it snaps in. Yeah, before it was pushing up on the side of the switch. That works good now. So I can go ahead and finish trying to figure out how I'm going to wire this up and get to that. This is the fan ready to install. I've got it mounted. Used 5 number 12 washers or spacers so that it didn't pull the brackets down on either side. Used a washer on the back, a lock washer, the nut. I also put a little blue Loctite on it to make sure it didn't come off. Took the connector that came with and put 2 bullet connectors on the back. This is how I'm going to wire the switch. These are the pin numbers on the back of the switch, and should be pretty self-explanatory. This is the power out to the cooling fan. This is a key on switch to run the little backlit light down here on the switch. The ground's up here, and this will be power from the battery. This wire right here is going to be tapped into the keyed power that goes to the light switch. This is the portion of the wiring harness that will extend down into the area to the battery and to the fan switch. Believe it or not, I was actually able to write fan on the wire. And I know what it is on the other side because it's the long red wire. This is just some covering that I had. I don't even know where I got it at, but I'm trying to keep it all together. That is the wires connected to the back of the switch, and I hope I got them right. We'll find out soon enough. All right, I got it all hooked up now. Pulled hot off the battery, and instead of doing a separate ground, I just pulled off the negative post for the ground. I used the wiring diagram that I showed earlier. Got the fan mounted back in there. A couple of the screws holding the front back on, and we can see in the light, but the light comes on when you turn the key on. By the way, I've got the hydraulic cooler fan unplugged right now, so you'd be able to hear this one run without issue. And then flip it on, top light comes on. Got plenty of power, I think. The little fan. And that's it blowing out there, and you can feel the air. Hold the paper up against the gas tank if you want to do. Alright, so I'm going to button it back up, and we'll go from there. So I got it all buttoned back up. The fan install went fairly smoothly. Miss Tootsie there helped a whole lot. I think it looks pretty good. Doesn't really look hacked up. Looks kind of factory, I guess. I'm going to turn without cranking it, I'm going to turn on. So when you turn it on, you can hear the hydraulic fan running, and then I'm going to turn that fan. So I guess that's going to be the end of the video. Don't really know how to ask this, but if you would like to subscribe, like, and comment, that would be great. I know Miss Tootsie over there would appreciate it. I've got several more videos to make, probably a bunch. I've got some that I'm editing, some mechanical ones, some using the machine, learning how to use the machine, and that's going to be about it.